keys of life, life ideals that you want your children to know to navigate this world successfully. What are the keys that you would tell them? What is the best advice that you can give your children, knowing they'll grow up soon, they'll be young adults, they'll have to use these pieces of advice to live their life as successfully as they can. Many times we hear of people at their deathbed may have told their children some advice, and this advice is powerful. This advice is short, but it's very, very meaningful. So we must ask ourselves, what kind of advice would we give our children? What would we say? And I'm really happy to share with you 11 ideal pieces of advice you want to give your children, that you want your children to know to navigate this world successfully. You can either say this to yourself as an affirmation, repeat a few of these throughout the day, or have them as short sayings that you tell your kids every now and then. But at least you want to be able to yourself say them. When we say something, it becomes a part of us. It eventually changes the way we think, the way we act, and the way we speak. Life ideal number 1. It is not the money. It is the feeling that people care. When we show that we care about people, when we donate money, and if we can't donate money, but we just inquire how people are, we help them in any single way, the fact that the person called, inquired, gave charity, it shows that the person is remembered. The person doesn't feel alone. They don't feel alone, especially elderly people. Sometimes they may feel useless. They are so cared for by everybody else. They practically have nothing to give over back. And they can feel useless. It makes them feel so good knowing someone has called, someone has remembered, someone has stopped by just to say hello. So when we give charity over, in a physical sense, or in any sense, especially when we give charity over, we must tell ourselves that it is not the money, it is the feeling that people care. Okay, number 2. The way I act on the outside affects the inside. We know that many times that we are naturally biased. We see someone, we say, oh, this is the type of socioeconomic status they have, or this is their background probably. This is probably where they stand in society. We have this unconscious bias. And believe it or not, we have to know that the way a person acts on the outside or looks on the outside will actually affect the way they feel inside. I've given over in my other videos that as a woman, we want to come home and we want to change our clothes to mommy mode, right? As professional as you are, the most important job you have in the world is to be a mommy in your house, to run your home, to be the wife and mom, right, in your home. So changing your clothes is actually a status symbol that right now I'm mommy mode. Right now this is the most important job in the world, as I've mentioned in my other videos. So even saying it's all for the best, right? You're going through a hard time, you're going through challenges in life, and you hear yourself saying it's all for the best, or you've heard people encourage you in that way, that eventually you'll see it's for the good, it's all for your best. And it actually lifts you up, and you start thinking as though it is for your best, because we really don't live in this world to see the challenges that we have and what they lead to. We experience the challenges, but Hashem gives us a tremendous gift. Our sages teach us that after 120 years, when a person leaves this world, a person will dance and sing for the challenges that they had, and not just see why they had those challenges, but they will rejoice in those challenges. So Hashem will give us that special gift of showing us why, but at the same time we must know that when we say it's all for the best, Ein od milvado, there's no one but Hashem, right? No one but God, it's all for the best. It's going to make you think that way, and hopefully change the way you view the situation in your life, and you'll actually put a positive step forward in a better direction, in a more productive direction, positive state. Okay, number 3. Fortunate is the one who lives his life and lives in his home, knowing he's in the home of Hashem. I'm going to repeat that. Fortunate is the one who lives his life and lives in a home, knowing he's in the home of Hashem. As the Jewish people, we are royalty. We are the royal children of Hashem. We're the chosen nation. But even more so, even anyone in the world knows that he's a human being. He or she is a human being. How does a human being act? We are above animals, right? How do we act? How do we respond to the world? The way we act obviously influences the way we'll be. And if I know that I'm only a guest in this world, that this world is really not mine, right? It's mine to enjoy, mine to fulfill my mission in this world. But nothing that I have here is mine. Not even my own children, not even my home, not even the money I make. It's not mine. Everything that I have are gifts from Hashem for me to do my mission in this world, to fulfill my mission. So if I have that kind of mindset, how do I act? How do people act when they are a guest in someone's home? They're careful where they put their shoes. They're careful where they put their jacket. They ask where they can sit, right? They're careful not to talk too much. So if we're trying to become more cognizant that we are actually guests in this world, we're here for a very temporary time. The person who even lives 80, 90 years will tell you that life is too short. Time just flies by. However, we must know that even though time flies by, every single day is a gift, and every single day we are the royal children of Hashem, and this is His world. How do I act when I know I'm a guest in Hashem's world? So that person is fortunate because they're always acting so incredibly royal. Now, we can't always do anything, right? Human beings are imperfect, and that's fine. However, let's improve in that area and being careful how we act, even in the privacy of our own home. As I shared in my previous videos, the biggest Kiddush Hashem, sanctification of Hashem's name, is how does a person act when they're alone, when they're with themselves. Okay, number 4. Number 4 is don't give people too much credence. Everything that happened to me is from above. This is very powerful. Number 4, don't give people too much credence. Everything that happened to me is from above. Oftentimes we think, this person did this to me, that person put me down, they insulted me, they didn't invite me, I got hurt this way. And we believe that things happen to us due to the mistakes of other people. We have to understand that Hashem enables people to do things to us. If He didn't give them that ability, if He didn't give them permission, then they wouldn't do it. Even if it is an evil person, even if it's someone who is doing something so hurtful to you, they will be accountable for their actions. They will be responsible for what they did to you. But Hashem enabled them to do it. Like it says in our holy books, when Hashem hardened Pharaoh's heart. It doesn't mean that Hashem hardened Pharaoh's heart against his will. Hashem helped Pharaoh do what he wanted to do anyway. He hardened his heart. He helped him do what he wanted to do anyway. The way you want to go is the way Hashem will help you go, right? So we want to understand that we shouldn't be blaming other people. Yes, we need to talk to people. We need to not be a doormat and let everything just happen to you. Obviously, we want to have a form of dignity and self-respect. But at the same time, we have to remember not to play the blame game. That this person did this to me. If a person said something to you or said something to me, then that means Hashem is sending me a message. And maybe that message is true. And maybe that message will wake me up. And maybe that message is just nonsense. And this person is throwing garbage into my life. This garbage talk. That's just not true. And if a person has healthy self-esteem and a connection to Hashem, you know what they'll do? The person who has hurt them, they'll pray for them. They won't blame them. They won't get angry. But a person who has an unhealthy form of self-esteem, and more so, have a disconnection from their own creator, do not have a relationship with them. This type of person blames other people, has anger towards other people, lives in resentment. So if a person knows that they're only a guest in this world, and they know that they're here to work on themselves, this is our ultimate mission. We're not here to be born perfect. Yet we live in this world, as in the secular society. Be careful how you treat me. Don't look at me a certain way. Don't take advantage of me. We take ourselves so seriously that it's hard to be happy. If other people take advantage of us, it's their problem. If you have a form of healthy self-respect, you know that you're also not perfect. You know that you're here to make peace in the world. You know that you have a mission in this world, not to be selfish, but to give. It's not all about me. What am I here to give to the world? And we have to know that don't give too much credence to people just because they did or said something to you. It doesn't mean it's coming from them. It's really a louder message from Hashem. Okay. Number 5, I will never go wrong with doing good. Back to talking about being taken advantage of. You will never lose by being nice to people, by being kind, even people who are compromised, even people who are difficult. Now that doesn't mean you're going to bend over backwards and be a doormat. No. But you're here to do things for people. I'm here to do things for people. We're here to help the world. And sometimes people are compromised. People need help. And we need to be doing our part in the relationship. And it's important for us to know that even though if you're taken advantage of in this world, after 120 years, you're never going to regret not doing the good. Because in the long run, you're only going to benefit. How are you going to benefit? Your character is going to change. You're going to be a calmer, kinder, forgiving, flexible person. And Hashem says, if you treat my children with kindness, if you treat my children with a sense of forgiveness, I will forgive you even for the wrongs you did on purpose or by accident. So Hashem treats us the way we treat other people. In the long run, you're always the winner. Whenever you try to have peace in the world and make peace with people. So you will never lose by being kind, even if people are not being kind. I get ladies all the time asking me, how should I act when this person acts like this towards me or like that? They hurt me, they took advantage of me, and now they're going to step all over me. And now I'm giving them this opportunity to do more wrong to me. I don't want to be hurt anymore. Yes, there's a balance in life, and there's a way we do things. But moreover, you will never lose by being kind back, because you're not really being kind to that person. You're being kind to Hashem's children, and that's what Hashem wants. Hashem wants you to partner with Hashem in this world to make this world a better place. And this person is benefiting, great. Keep helping. First of all, your energy, your ability, your financial abundance doesn't really come from anything you did. It's really Hashem giving you those as gifts to help others. So if you're unsure, should I do this to her or to him? Should I help? Just keep helping and keep being nice. You'll always win in the end. Okay. Number 6. Listening to the news is a smidgen of the Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah is when we actually embrace a false god, right? Avodah Zarah. Listening to the news is a smidgen of Avodah Zarah. What does that mean? It's a small taste of Avodah Zarah. It's falsehood, right? There's only one God and there's only one truth. And the politicians make it seem like they're controlling everything. And one minute they're in control, the next minute they're putting each other down, and the next minute somebody else is on top just because they have more money, have more initials to their name, or come from a certain type of family, right? It just doesn't make sense. And what happens is the negative energy that we get from listening to the news, which is only negative energy, they don't say the good that happened in the world. It naturally brings us down and makes us lose hope, makes us feel negative, we have a negative outlook into the world, and really lowers our zest for life. And that's not what we want. From the minute we wake up, we say, Mode ani lefanecha. I admit, I woke up, I'm so grateful to be alive. My neshama is given back to me to serve Hashem. If I'm constantly listening to the news, I have no zest for life. So we want to limit how much news we watch, if we watch at all. So please make sure that you don't watch the news so much or at all, in order for you to have that energized pump and boost to live this world, to live your life with the right attitude. Okay. Number 7. Take it from head knowledge to heart knowledge. We are incredibly smart human beings. We know so much. We have degrees. We are very well-rounded, taught, and well-educated. Yet, when it comes to spirituality, we want to make sure that whatever's actually the material that we learn, we take this knowledge in the head and we take it to the heart. We actually feel it. We actually act upon it. It actually becomes part of us. It's a strong form of arrogance if people do take upon spirituality upon themselves for the wrong reasons. For example, they become big Torah scholars in order to have more honor to their name, in order for them to give big lectures and be famed, in order for them to write books and be famous, right? And this is not why we want to be spiritual. Well, we don't want to be these spiritual characters or leaders if we're going to only do it for our honor, our popularity. Yes, honor, popularity comes its way, but that's not why we do it. We do it because these ideas that we want to share with the world really impacts us. That's the whole point. Impacts us as human beings. It's arrogance just to know information, how smart I am, how much Torah I know. If it's not part of a person's character, it becomes useless, because anybody can read a book and anybody can study words. But if it's going to actually change your character, that's much harder than learning any Torah, any amount of Torah at all. So we have to remember that. Okay, number 8. We have to make spirituality real to ourselves. What does that mean? Oftentimes we learn about spiritual concepts and rewards and how privileged we are, how lucky we are. It's very hard to constantly stay motivated if you're not working on that imagery. A person can say, but that's too hard to imagine. All day long I have to imagine being royal. All day long I have to imagine that I'm getting some sort of reward. After 120 years I'll get this huge treasure chest of rewards. It's so hard. Yes, it is hard. But you have to remember 2 things. Number 1, a person's nature changes according to their habits. When we develop new habits, new thought processes, and we actually embrace them, it becomes actually a part of us, which is really beautiful. This is the way we begin to think. And the second thing is all these negative things that we're trying to say and to do. We don't have to have it become a part of us. It takes a lot of energy to be negative, much more energy than to be positive. Why? If you're thinking about something and you're really worried, what do? This thought, which is a form of a marble, the shape of a marble, becomes a huge basketball. Why? Because we revisit that negative emotion, that negative experience. We make it up. We're worried, right? You're worried about your child coming home. The child hasn't come. The child didn't call. It's late. You called carpool, they're not picking up. All these thoughts are going on in your head. It balloons into a huge figure that you just cannot contain. And it's all a figment of your imagination. In a few minutes, your child comes through the door and everything is fine. The child's phone died, right? And it's all these thoughts were really for no reason. So why not use this powerful tool of imagination for the good? And everything that you're doing, which is a mitzvah, everything that you're doing, try your best to imagine that this activity is actually something that's elevating your neshama, right? You're going up the escalator, or maybe you're getting some kind of reward in Shemaim, right? It's in the treasure chest of Shemaim, and after 120 years, you'll see all these golden coins, or you'll see this huge palace, a beautiful, gorgeous palace made out of gold, because you are royalty. We need to make spirituality real to ourselves. Why do we let negativity completely embody us, and we become so engrossed in it? We make it real, make it alive, and it's all fake. Why don't we actually use our imagination for what it's created to be, for the good, to make us into better people, into elevated, growing people? Okay. Number 9. Fortunate are people who are sitting in their home, knowing they are living in Hashem's house. Right, we did that one. It's very similar to the one that we said earlier, because this one really focuses on making the world a better place through your actions. But it's very similar to, fortunate is the one who lives his life and lives in a home knowing he's in the home of Hashem, he's in the palace of Hashem, and we are living in a way that we're careful with our actions. We know that you're Hashem's daughter. So in this way, we could actually look at it at a different angle, that if you're the daughter of the king and you're taking care of his possessions, you're going to ask Hashem, how do I use this? How do I educate my children? How do I talk to my husband? How do I take care of your palace? Right? Am I my best dressed self, my eloquent self when I'm at work? And when I get home, how do I act? How do I look like? What do you want me to do? And this we ask Hashem, because we really live in the home of Hashem. The Jewish home is the whole, very holy place. And it's the most sacred place for the woman. This is her sanctuary. This is the mini Beit HaMikdash. So we have to live in a home in a way, knowing that if we're not sure of what we possess, we ask Hashem, guide me, help me. How do I use what you're giving me? Okay. Number 10. The whole world hinges on the call of my neshama, my mission in this world. Everything that I do, either positive or negative, affects the world, affects the cosmos. My neshama changes the world completely. The smallest thing that I do, as I taught in my previous videos, we do not know the value of a mitzvah. There's no such thing as a small mitzvah, small positive commandment, or a big positive commandment, meaning your reward is bigger here or there. We just don't know. And we just have to believe that we have to keep on trying. Remember, we have free will. If we didn't have free will, we would see the result of our actions and we wouldn't stop. We would see what's happening to our neshama, how elevated it's becoming. Every single good deed that we're doing, positive commandment we're fulfilling, but that wouldn't be free will, because then you'll be seeing everything. That wouldn't give you free choice. That's more programmed, because you have no choice. You see what's happening. You see it's obviously for the good. But remember, we live in a dark world. We live in a world where good people get hurt. Bad people seem like they're prospering. Things don't make sense in life. We don't understand how this person can take charge, can become a leader, or why does this have to happen to the sweetest people in the world? We just don't know. We just don't know. We live in this type of world, and that's why we have to know that our neshama is so special. It's so incredibly powerful. that if we only knew what it's doing, we wouldn't be able to stop. But just knowing how powerful we are is an empowering thought and an encouraging one as well. Okay. Number 11. I have much more in me than I realize. All the good character traits are even more enhanced in me than I realize. We do not have to reinvent the wheel inside of ourselves. We come from our forefathers, we come from our foremothers, and we have to know how special we are. We have their DNA makeup inside of us. So we have the traits of kindness, sympathy, empathy, strength, along with many other positive traits inside of us already. All we need is to activate that DNA, meaning work on those character traits even more, and they'll be even more enhanced. We don't know how big we are. We don't know the bigness of our neshama. If we would know, we would just be shocked of how great we are. We would probably faint about how great we are. We're not here to see that. Instead, we have to fight the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara is the evil inclination who's constantly bringing you down, who's constantly telling you, you're late, you're going to yell, you're going to mess up, you're going to fail, you're not going to get anything done today. And it's constantly telling you that you're a failure. But if you know who you are, if you know how empowering you can be, you're going to tell the Yetzer Hara to take a hike and say, this is just nonsense. You're just a figment of my imagination. And you're only real if I give you life, if I empower you. Don't let the Yetzer Hara seed come into your head and sprout and rule the way you think and live this world and think about yourself. So we have to remember with this thought that you have much more in you than you realize. You're so incredibly special. There's never one like you in this world. Never will be, not is, and never was. Never, never. We are very, very special. We're here in this world to be the best we can be. And we have to ask Hashem for help, to enable us, to enable us with wisdom, to discover who we are, how great we can be. And at the same time, understand that it's all coming from Him in order for us to be the best we can be. Appreciating the insights of Rebbetzin Esther Baylor Schwartz. All of these thoughts were really her sayings in her lectures that really are so empowering, and they stayed with me, and I wanted to share them with you. Appreciating the insights of Rebbetzin Esther Baylor Schwartz. Leah Abramov, Being and Becoming. Awakening awareness of your greatness and potential.